Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked for this week. So I think let's just go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have the Visconti Ecstasy d'Oud. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore in the orange, a Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore in the Volcano, a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande in the Art Deco. We have a Pelikan M1000 Varden Starlight. We have a Pelikan M805 Ocean Swirl. We have a Pelikan M805 Vibrant Blue, a Pelikan M800 Grand Place, a Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog, and last but not least, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi. So I think let's just go through these pens in a little bit more detail. This is the beautiful Visconti Ecstasy d'Oud, or d'Oud as I used to call it. I'm trying to get into calling it the d'Oud. It is a really, really lovely pen. It's an overlay pen. It also has, it's made of this black lucite material, but it also has some gold dust sprinkled within. I don't know if you can actually, if the camera is picking that up, it's a little bit hard for me to see. I'm hoping that you can see that. But it then has this gold overlay, and this really is a stunning pen. Now you do have this sort of cage here that you can put some cotton wool or cotton fluff in, and the idea is that you unscrew the blind cap and you have an inner compartment, and what you should do is fill this with perfume or EDT, and then you have this little glass dabber and you dab the cotton wool or cotton fluff in here and you scent your pen. So this really is a great idea in a pen. It's something that I still haven't used to this date. I just don't want to really store any perfume inside it, just in case it corrodes the pen. But for me, I think this really is a beautiful, stunning pen. I like the idea of the pen. I love the size. I like oversized pens. It's a long pen. It's not an overly girthy pen, but it's actually, so it certainly holds its weight in terms of girth. But it's a beautiful pen. And the other thing that I love about this is it comes with a 23 cat palladium nib, and it's a medium nib. And this nib really actually writes very nicely. It's a wet, bouncy nib. But because of that perfume compartment, you can only hold a very small amount of ink in this push-pull converter. But it's a great pen and I love it. I love writing with this pen. It really is a good size, a good weight. If I want to, I can post that cap. It is back weighted and the cap doesn't stay on that well. But I can do if I really wanted to. If I wanted to show off, then I potentially could post that cap. But I don't. It's just, to me, it's just not really designed to be posted. But this is a beautiful pen. And then the next pen we have is the Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore, and this is in the orange. And I love this resin. It's got this lovely effect going on here with these bubbles that almost want to pop through that resin. It has a lot of chatoyance there that you can see on camera. It really is a nice pen. It comes with the Italian roller style clip, although this one is a bit tight. It probably needs a clip pulling up a little bit, but this is a really nice orange. I love orange inks, and to be honest, I would probably buy this pen myself and just ink it up with an orange ink. It's a really great pen. It comes with a Leonardo medium nib. It's a steel nib there. But this also is a cartridge converter pen. And then we also have another Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore, and this is in the Volcano. and this material really does speak to me. It's a beautiful sort of black grey sort of ash like material, again in that furore finish or furore model, the shape and size. And again, this has, if I just wipe off the nib, it's a little bit frosted there. It has a broad steel nib, but this nib is, again, a really nice nib to write with. I do like these broad nibs. I do like the size of these pens, these furores. I didn't initially like the very pointedness shape of the pen, but to me, these furores do actually work really well. And I do like how they write. They write exquisitely well. So for me, again, this is a cartridge converter. It's a plastic feed, the furores, not an ebonite feed. But it's a pen that actually looks good and actually writes good for me. The next pen is the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande, and this is the Art Deco in the blue. Now, the reason why it's an Art Deco, you should be able to see there that Art Deco style pattern going on. It's almost like, you can almost say it's the Greek keyband as well, that you see on some pens. But that really is a lovely Art Deco material. Now, this is made of ebonite, so it's not resin, so that's why it may not shine as much as some of the other pens, because it's ebonite and you can't really polish ebonite. You can apply lacquer to ebonite, which could have been done, but I think with this Art Deco pattern it probably wouldn't have worked out that well. So this is a 14 karat gold piston filling pen. So this is not only a Grande, which is more expensive than the Furore or the regular Momento Zero, but this is really more into the cellulite price band of the Leonardos. So if I take this out here, this has a 14 karat gold nib, but as you can see, this is a music nib. So that has 3 tines and not 2, and that's the ebonite feed in a lovely red ebonite feed there. But again, this is a really nice size. I do love the Grandes. This really is a beautiful pen. Now, I said that this comes in a piston. It is, because it's a Grande, it's not a full piston. It's the cartridge converter style piston that is actually glued and doesn't come off. And again, you can see that Art Deco pattern there, or Greek keyband almost there. You can also access via the piston blind cap there, but this is a really lovely pen. I do like it. I do like the size and weight. So I have that inked up with me again this week. I also have my Pelikan M1000 Varden Starlight, and if you've watched my Christmas video, you will have seen that this pen did make it to me for Christmas 2019. This is a beautiful pen, and I do love it. I do try to write with it a lot. This has a Pelikan M1000 nib, so it's a number 8 size nib. These all come with a medium nib, these Varden versions of the M1000s. I could put on a broad nib if I wanted to. I don't need to, because this really actually flexes to probably a double or maybe triple broad. These Pelikan medium nibs are really quite nice in terms of flex. I also have inked up the Pelikan M805, and this is the Ocean Swirl. Again, a lovely pattern here, beautiful pattern. It's you've got the light and darkness there of the ocean waves. These are because it's the M805. It comes with a Pelikan number 6 size nib, and this is a broad nib here. Let's wipe that off a bit, but it's a beautiful writing nib. These M800 nibs are more rigid, unlike the M1000 nibs. And then I have this one inked up, and this is the Pelikan M805, and this is the Vibrant Blue. And again, a lovely material here, and again a Pelikan M800 nib there, and it's a broad nib. Just going to get that to focus a bit, but this is a really lovely pen to write with. And then I have this one inked up as well, and this is the Pelikan M800 Grand Place. And again, I absolutely love this brown and blue swirl going on in the Grand Place. And again, this has a Pelikan M800 broad nib there. And again, these nibs on the M800s are quite stiff, quite rigid. They're not flex nibs like the M1000 nibs. And the M1000 is not called a flex nib, but it does flex or bounce a lot. And then I have the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog inked up. And unfortunately, it has some really lovely ribbons here, but unfortunately, when it's inked up, you can't see it that much. But I have shown other videos, and I've got a review of it with it uninked, so you can see just how beautiful this pen is. Now, this is a Powervac filler, and it is a double reservoir as well, hook safe lock mechanism, and it comes with a Visconti 23 cat palladium nib, and that's a fine nib there, but I just love how this writes. It's one of my best fine writing nibs, and I don't normally like fine nibs. And then we have, last but not least, the Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi, and this is a beautiful pen in this lovely red with a bronze trim. Again, it's another Homo Sapiens, so it's a large capacity of ink, it's a Powervac filler, a double reservoir. You have a hook safe lock mechanism there, and also it has a 23 cat palladium nib, and this one is a medium nib. But again, this is just a beautiful pen to write with, so I have that pen inked up with me this week too. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So the first pen is the Visconti Ecstasy Dude. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now this is a lovely wet writing nib, slightly bouncy nib as well, as I mentioned. This is a beautiful writer. So this is the Visconti Ecstasy Dude, and it is a medium 23 cat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is Diamine Majestic Purple, and that is a beautiful ink that I love writing with. It's a beautiful purple, my ultimately favourite purple ink. The next pen is a Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore in the orange. So again, we'll do an ink swatch. Now I actually have a more darker orange inked up in this pen rather than a lighter orange. Now this is a fine nib, so it's a medium nib, so it is actually a lot narrower than this Visconti medium. So it's a Leonardo, and it is the Furore in the orange, and it is a medium still nib, and then the ink in here is Robert Oster Tangerine, which is a nice orange. It's more of a darker orange, I would say, but it is quite a nice orange. And then we have the Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore in the Volcano. So again, we'll do an ink swatch. Now this, I absolutely love how this nib writes. It's a very wet, very broad nib. So this is the Leonardo Furore in the Volcano, and this is a broad steel nib, and then the ink in here is Pilot Eroshizuku Kirisami, and this is a beautiful nib. I love how that writes. And then we have the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande in the Art Deco. So we'll do an ink swatch here. Now, bearing in mind, this is a music nib, so it is going to write very broad. Very, very broad. But it's also a 14 karat gold music nib as well. So this is the Leonardo, and this is the Momento Zero Grande Art Deco, and it's a music nib, and it's a 14 karat gold nib, and I've run out of space. And the ink in here is Visconti Blue. Again, a beautiful ink, and I think it actually matches that pen quite well. And then we have the Pelikan M1000 Raden Starlight. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, these Pelikan nibs are a little bit bouncy, quite wet, very wet I should say. So this is a Pelikan M1000 Raden Starlight, and it's a medium 18 karat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Pilot Eroshizuku Inner Ho, but that I think is a lovely goldish colour ink, which really matches a lot of that goldness in that pen. The next pen is the Pelikan M805 Ocean Swirl. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is a broad nib Pelikan. It's a Pelikan M805 Ocean Swirl in a broad 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is Diamine Marine, which is a lovely sort of tealy, turquoisey coloured ink. The next pen we have is the Pelikan M805, and this is the Vibrant Blue. So we'll do an ink swatch, and you'll see here that this nib is quite a wet writer. It's a Pelikan M805 Vibrant Blue in the broad 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is Diamine Azure Blue, which is a lovely punchy sort of blue ink. The next pen is the Pelikan M800 Grand Plus. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is a very, very light brown ink in this nib. Strange enough, it can come out very dark in other nibs. So this is a Pelikan M800 Grand Plus in a broad 18 karat gold nib, and then the ink in here is J'ai Heben Li de Te. But it's a beautiful writing nib, this one. The next pen we have is the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog. Now, this is a fine nib, so you are getting a much narrower nib here, or line variation, but it's still quite a wet nib as well. So it's the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog in a fine, and it's a 23 karat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki, which is one of my favourite blue inks. And then last but not least, we have the Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi. So again, we'll do an ink swatch. Now this does have a medium nib on it, and it is quite wet. So it's a Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi, and it's a medium 23 karat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is Pelican Edelstein Garnet, and that's a lovely red ink that I have inked up in that pen. So I think let's just go through these pens inked up one more time. We have a Visconti Ecstasy d'Oud in a medium 23 karat palladium nib inked up with Diamine Majestic Purple. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore in the orange medium steel nib inked up with Robert Oster Tangerine. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore Volcano in a broad steel nib inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Kirisami. We have a Leonardo Memento Zero Grande Art Deco in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with Visconti Blue. We have a Pelican M1000 Raden Starlight in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Inner Ho. We have a Pelican M805 Ocean Swirl in a broad 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Marine. We have a Pelican M805 Vibrant Blue in a broad 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Azure Blue. We have a Pelican M800 Grand Place in a broad 18 karat gold nib inked up with J'ai Heben Li de Te, which almost looks a little bit like an orangey ink in this pen, not a brown ink. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog in a fine 23 karat palladium nib inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki. And then last but not least, we have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi in a medium 23 karat palladium nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Garnet. So there you have it, that's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.